Hey guys, Sith Lord through a note here with my review of Rogue One. Spoilers. Okay, I'm getting into depth in the movie and what I thought about it. So let's start with things that I actually liked about the movie. I've seen the movie twice already, and I have to admit, I really enjoy this movie. But it has its problems. First of all, Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso is great. She plays the character really well. She knows who the character is. And honestly, the entire cast of the Rebels are pretty good. Each character has its key moments where you get to feel who each character is. My favorite other characters are K2SO and Chirrut. Donnie Yen is a total badass as the blind Force believer, and Alan Tudyk does an amazing job of playing a droid that quickly became one of my favorite Star Wars characters. The Empire and the Rebellion are depicted really well. You really feel like it's a war movie. Both sides will do whatever they need to do in order to win. Even the Rebellion, I like how they showed that the Rebellion isn't all this squeaky clean rebellion. They have a dark side to them. I thought that was pretty cool. And then we got more of a feel of the brutality of the Empire. We got to see that these guys, they're not necessarily bad, but their methods of doing things are really sinister. Like they blew up Jeddah City just to see if the weapon was ready. They didn't care about the people who died. They just did it because they needed to see if the weapon was ready. I just love how brutal the Empire is. The space battles in this movie were amazing. The space battles in this movie quickly became my favorite space battles in Star Wars. It feels like a World War II dogfight. It feels like an actual space battle. It's amazing. I was never bored through the space battles in this movie. The action scenes were beautiful. Now, this movie got people from Zero Dark 30, Black Hawk Down, and a bunch of war movies to work on this movie. So they got the feel of war really well in this movie. You feel like you're in a war movie. The way everything's shot, the way the action scenes play out, it feels like a war movie. And Vader was used sparingly and was nothing but scary and badass. I love the fact that they had Vader in the movie, but yet the movie wasn't about Vader. Yes, he was there. He wasn't shoehorned in. He was in there because it fits the story. And when he was in there, it didn't feel forced or anything. And all the scenes with Vader were really cool, especially the ending. You guys already know. If you guys seen the movie, you know the ending with Vader is amazing. The way he just slaughters down the rebels, it feels like a horror movie. It feels like that's Jason coming after a bunch of kids. He's taking them out like nothing. And we got to see the badass Vader that we always wanted to see in the prequels. Krennic was I would say he's a good villain. I actually felt for him and rooted for him. He just wanted to be acknowledged and appreciated for his achievement. He was played really well. Right now, although I really enjoyed the movie, it had some problems. Just a couple things. The one slug thing that in Saw's hideout was I felt that was really unnecessary to have in the movie. Really unnecessary. It felt like something out of the prequels. It just didn't feel right having that scene. And if you take out that scene from the movie doesn't change at all. That shouldn't have been there. And then, although I liked all the rebel characters, I have to admit we didn't know anything about them. I liked them all. I enjoyed them all, but I never had a connection with any of them. Jin, the main character, she has a stone wall around her the entire movie. You don't get any real back. I mean, you get backstory for Jin, but she always seems to be this protected person. Like she doesn't break down. She doesn't have multiple layers to her. She's just a badass, and that's it. And same thing with the other characters. They're all badass or a great fighter or smart. They all have their moments, but the thing is, you don't really learn anything about the characters, about their backstory. Like one thing, Chirrut and Base, they seem to be really good friends. Like if they'd known each other for years, but you don't know anything about them. It would have been cool to see how they met, or why Base sticks with Chirrut. besides the fact that they're friends. Like, what happened? We hardly got any backstory for the rebels, and that bothered me a bit. At times, the CGI on Tarkin, it looked off. Okay, and I know there's a lot of discussion about this online on whether Tarkin really needed to be in the movie. But I honestly think Tarkin had to be in this movie. He plays a big part in the Death Star in Episode 4. He needed to be in this movie. The fact that they CGI'd Peter Cushing's face, it was hard. At first when I first saw it, I could tell it was CGI. The CGI for replicating actual human faces isn't completely there yet. It has improved a lot from the last time we saw it, which is in Captain America: Civil War. But you could still tell it's fake. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. I just have to say that sometimes it did kind of bother me, or I could see it in the eyes that actually wasn't an actor. Okay, the CGI on Leia completely took me out of the movie. Completely. I don't know what happened with the CGI, but it just looks completely fake and does not look like Carrie Fisher at all. I mean, it does. It looks like her, yeah, but it looks completely fake. You could tell that's not an actual person. And that really just took me out of the movie. Okay, next, I have to admit, even though I enjoyed the movie a lot, the first hour of the movie feels really disjointed. You're just jumping from scene to scene that really have no relation with each other until the end of the movie. It feels really sloppily edited together. Like it just doesn't feel right the way it was edited. And then the title screen when Rogue One comes out on the screen after the opening scene, I have to admit that the title just looks really cheap. Like Christian Harloff said from Collider, it looks like an iMovie title font. It really does. It looks really cheap. You know. And then this movie is this movie is for hardcore Star Wars fans. If you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, you will love this movie. You really will. But my concern is for the people who aren't hardcore Star Wars fans. They won't get all the references. They won't get everything going on. And then I have not finished the prequel book to this Catalyst yet, but from hearing from people who have read it, it actually makes the movie better. Certain scenes play off better, and the deaths of Galen and Lyra, they affect you more because you have spent time with the characters. So I don't know if that actually makes the movie better or not. I'm gonna finish it sometime this week, and then I will watch Rogue One again and see if it changes anything. Okay, this is a big thing. Since Vader is kind of the selling point of this movie, I have to say, I did not like the way Vader's suit looked. His suit looks really plasticky. I don't know how to describe it, but his suit looks like a Halloween costume. I know he looks more like the Vader from Rebels. I just don't like the way it looks. It doesn't look right to me for some reason. It just bothers me. And although I love the fact that they use James Earl Jones as a voice of Vader again, I had to admit the voice sounded of age. You could tell, that his voice wasn't completely there. It's not the same anymore. And I hate to say that because I love James Earl Jones and what he did with the voice of Vader. That's revolutionary. But his voice isn't the same. You could tell that as soon as Vader spoke his first line, I could tell there was something off about it. Maybe again it's because I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, but maybe for the general public it will pass. I don't know, but that bothered me. Okay, guys, that's pretty much my review for Rogue One. Spoilers. Although the movie did feel a little bit disjointed for me at the beginning, and the characters have little to no backstory, I still enjoyed the movie. I really liked the characters of Chirrut and K2SO. It was really good and it felt like a real war movie based in the Star Wars universe. And that last scene with Vader, that sold the movie for me. That scene was amazing. It's been something I've been wanting to see on the big screen since I was a kid, and it was really awesome to finally see Vader in a scene like that. The space battles in the movie quickly became my favorite space battles in the Star Wars saga. Now, guys, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed the movie, and I know the Star Wars community online has really enjoyed it as well. But I just want to ask, what do you guys think?